Hey, what's going on today, guys? My name's Jonah. We're back. We're back in Spin Tires. Mudrunner, actually. Today's we're doing a little different video. So the last one we did was kind of a bash on, what Mudrunner's kind of turning into, which is this more unrealistic game, and sad to see that. But now we're gonna compare some of the more realistic mods that are in this game, and these are Overland rigs. These are gonna be these are Toyota Land Cruisers. These three right here are 2012s. They're LC. That's an LC79. These are HJ79s, and this one right here is a 1990. So this one's by Surge. These two are by Surge. This one's by Forces, and these you're gonna see are some of the best mods available to use. They have unbelievable amounts of customization. You can throw camper shells on there. Utility trailers, you name it. And they're going to look like Overland rigs. They're not going to look like a hardcore rock crawler. They're not going to look like a tow truck or something that's going to be a hauler. These are Overland vehicles. Back around the Land Cruiser, they're not really used here in the United States, not these kinds. We do have Land Cruisers here, but none that really look like this. You can find them. It is rare to see them. If you see one, take a picture of it. That memory should last forever because you probably won't see one again. That being said, these are used in Australia, South Africa, well, Africa in general, some in Europe, a lot in Russia, a lot in South America, Central America, those kinds of areas. Because of laws that are in place in mostly like in Africa and in Australia, mainly Australia, they don't lift these. They're not allowed to. They can only really level them. So they have to get the most wheel travel they can out of a leveled out truck, or whatever you want to call these. So a lot of these, most of them, are going to be running a long arm kit. You can see it right here. This one right here has it. That one has it. This one in the front over here has it. This one's supposed to have it. It's not quite as good as the other ones. These two are running a bypass shock. So you can see this blue right here, and then there's kind of this silver next to it, this gray. So the front are running bypasses, and then with coils. And the rear are doing the same thing with coils. And they're supposed to have, and I don't see it. Yeah, they're not running leafs, but they should be running leaf springs. Maybe this one is, but it doesn't look like it. This one I know is running a leaf spring. You can see them right there. There's the shackle. On a standard shock on the rear, you see that? Just a standard shock. Whereas on the front here, we've got coils. These are going to be something like from Dobson, USA, maybe Old Man Emu. But this running just a coil and then a shock in the front. This one over here, though, we're going to rotate to it. This one has got a full coilover conversion in the front. In the rear, it's got a very similar set of, probably from the same manufacturer. We could say King, Fox, Icon, but they're blue, so we're going to say Fox or King. These are running a bypass shock, definitely a 2.5. Those are a fat bore. And you can see there's the shock tube. And then right on top of it is the actual bypass, the reservoir, if you will, on a leaf spring. So we're going to start with this one. One of the reasons being is because I haven't run it yet. And this running BFG crawlers. Yeah, this one's running BFG crawlers. They look like they're probably in the 38 range, because the reason I've got two of these guys is one's 35 and one's a 38, and maybe I'm close enough. So this one's running 35s and that one's running 38s. I wanted to see the difference between the two because I've already run these two mods, and for some reason they don't turn very well. I think this one's in the same boat as well. But we're gonna pull it up here. You can hear the sound of it now. Well, I got some sort of mod. Just a diesel motor. All right, we're gonna go ahead and turn it down now. So this one's got tons of modifications, like I said. We could run a truck bull bar, which is kind of this one that you'd see on like a semi truck here in the States. I'm not gonna do that. We're running the ARB. We're gonna run an antenna. We're going overlandy, bro. We need that communication with the outside world just to be on the safe side. We're gonna run the box flatbed. This one does not come with a sweet like overland box like Patriot Campers does out of Australia. This one comes with a box. This is something that you'd see on a Toyota Land Cruiser. They carry them. They're usually on these things pretty much from the factory sometimes. Got the ARB side guards. These are going to protect your quarter panels. This front, they usually have some on the rear too. For some reason they don't today. We're going to run a Snorkel. Definitely going to throw the trail items in there. So we got like a mat. We assume that's like a sleeping mat. Toolbox, air compressor, and air tank, and then this tote, which is gonna. There's no way of knowing what's in it. Probably recovery gear, let's say. We got the winch, a Warren winch, and then we're definitely throwing the utility trailer on here. Oh, I love the utility trailer. Now, these all have the same utility trailer. They all run the same military-style M1110, kind of a small utility trailer. They have leaf springs on them, and these are running the TSL SS off-road tire. I'm not a big fan of them. I don't like the way they look. They do have a cover, and they have this little propane tank. So we could even go out to say that the cover is a tent. It doesn't look like it, but we could say it, I suppose. So there you go. Driving too fast, took rock damage. Now you're probably thinking like, man, why do you need a snorkel? We're on this map called Martinez Canyon. It's a desert map. I don't see water around, so why would you need a snorkel? Well, one of the main reasons is because a snorkel, yes, it does relocate the air intake, like where the actual air comes in, although the intake stays the same. It does relocate it and waterproof it in a bit so that your motor's not going to suck in tons of water. But also on a desert map, if you're running with a group of people, they're going to be kicking up dust. And if you're not in the front, you're not sucking in very clean air. You're going to be sucking in dirty air. This is going to it relocates it. Most of the dust is going to be kind of around this height right here. And that's going to be sucking in air from a higher, cleaner location. Much, much, much better on the motor. So yeah, that's one of the main reasons. Hopefully, that helps people understand. Now, here we go. We can see the long arm kit definitely works. Rotates all the way around. I'm loving this design. You can see the coil over. One thing I like about this coil over is that this is the shock tube to right here. This is the shaft. That is about equal length. I'm sure it'll be, like most of these mods, a little bit different as we get it flexed out, but for the most part, it's very realistic. Lights, I think these are always on. Headlights, they obviously turn on. Rear, we can see the bypasses going to work, sort of. Like, it's hard to tell, but they are. Whoops, I turned off all-wheel drive. There we go. Okay. So this trail just kind of takes us up to that thing right up there, and it's a good trail just to test it out. It's got some loose rock, lots of points where we can flex this particular truck out. You can see right there, just like that. Look at that bypass. There you go. I love seeing bypasses in this game. To me, it's a little different, but that bypasses would be on this particular kind of style rig. But you know what? We'll discuss that here in a bit. But this trail's tough. It's not anything like extremely tough. It's not rock crawling like that, but it's crawling nonetheless. Definitely gonna put it in low 2, just so we can steadily do this. You can kind of hear the sound of the motor. The turbo spool up and then spool down, or despool. Spool down's not a thing. There you go. There's a pretty good flex shot. So you can see it does its fair share. It's pretty good. It's realistic. I like this one a lot. Finally, we got the front tire off the ground. I wanted to see what that would take. Look at that. There we go. Okay. That's full flex out of the front. That's pretty realistic. That's what I would expect to see out of something like this particular rig, especially in real life. The back, pretty flexed out. I like this. This is something good. This is what I like to see. Now, as we're going back to talking about the bypasses, it's getting a little loud. I don't know why this one has bypasses in the rear, because bypasses are more meant for kind of go fast travel would be the best way to describe it. Not necessarily for like this kind of travel, but I can see that maybe somebody's bombing down a dirt road, not this kind of dirt road, but a dirt road, and that they need that bypass. They need that added cooling with the additional fluid that runs through the bypass, runs through the tubing, and it supposedly, and it is proven, so it's not really supposedly. I think I shouldn't have said that, but it does cool the shock and prolong the life of the fluid that's in there. Yeah, this is a great mod. I like seeing this. Now this one is the 1990. It's got the older looking body style. it has no problem crawling up this stuff at all. It crawls over the rocks like it's nothing, even the ones that are loose, which usually you see them just, most trucks slip off the side of them. We'll stop right here, and that way we can pull in the other trucks, because I want to test the other ones too. It's a good looking truck. The antenna rotates and bobbles all back and forth. Let's see what the inside looks like. It's not like super decked out or anything. It's good. It's good, but it's not great. Let's put it that way. I don't think the steering wheel actually turned either. Alright, so that's the 1990. Let's switch over to, let's do the LC79, which is the single cab. We'll just stick with single cabs right now. So this one's the single cab. It's a 2012. It's running the Dobson USA. We could say it's Dobson or Old Man Emu. Coils up front. It's supposed to be a long arm, but it's not really a long arm. With just a standard shock in the rear. Same thing, just a shock. It is on leaf springs, which I do like to see that. And this one we can run this antenna and then a dual antenna because we're overlandy, bro. Run as many as you can. It's got an ARB front bumper. It's got your headlights. Everything turns on. The lights in the bumper, the IPLs in the front, which are just standard spotlights, something the ARB tends to run. You could even say they're KCs if you wanted to. And then the headlights. We're gonna throw on. Now we'll just start with the work tray here, just to show what it's got. So it's got this work tray. This is something that would come factory from Toyota, probably. And then you can throw on there, let me see here, repair items. Repair items, 4 jerry cans, 2 totes, pretty standard stuff. We're going to uninstall it. Then we got a steel work tray. Now this is something that you'd see from Patriot Campers, which is based out of, I'll show you. Patriot Campers would do this. This would then mount up with the Overland attachment, which what we're going to do right now is throw the Overland attachment on. Overland attachment, you can see, is the steel work tray. Same one, but it's got the Overland attachment, which this would be, you got a roof rack. This would open up on both sides. It's going to carry totes. It'll have a shelving unit. Probably your kitchen will be there. It's got a full-size spare, although this is running the TSLSS mud tire. This is running BFGs. I'm not going to complain because we can do this. Oh, look, the utility trailer. Same one, running the same tire as that. So we can say, hey, we need a spare. That's why we got that. We're going to throw the Snorkel on there for reasons like we talked about earlier. We're definitely throwing the roof rack and the roof rack jerry cans. Roof rack jerry cans come with a full-length jerry can, probably something more like a 10-gallon jerry can, and then a tote on top we can say has recovery gear. This one can run a dual Snorkel. It's not necessarily needed. This is a turboed little Cummins motor, so we could say, hey, you know, we need all the help we can get. Sound, very similar. You can hear it. Pretty similar sound. Turn it down. All right, let's go. So turning radius on this. I know I'm talking about turning radius, and when we get to the other trucks, you'll see why. Fairly good. It turns. It's quick. We need to throw it into low 2 here. There you can see. So these 2 bars right here are or this one is just stretching as it rotates, whereas this one needs to be down here and this one needs to be like this end should be down here. But it's probably a modding thing that just got overlooked. I'm not gonna complain. I still really like this mod. It's it is probably the most realistic one on here. Turning radius, oh, it is bad. It's really bad. All right, we gotta back up here. So we're gonna do the same trail that we just did with the other one. Yeah, I think it's a good benchmark. You can kind of see everything going on here. So we got the ARB front bumper with the IPL lights. We got a rack on top, the Snorkel, the Patriot Camper style Overland rig and the Overland attachment in the back. This is what I would consider to be probably the pinnacle of Overland rigs. The Cummins turbo diesel that's in it is one of the most powerful, torquey motors out there, so it's got no problem getting through things, mud, you name it. Now, the only thing I don't necessarily like about this truck is that it just has standard like shock in the back. It's not, and in the front too, you can see it. It's this little black thing right here. Just for the sake of this mod being built so well, we're gonna say that that's the Old Man Emu new black, what are they called? Their maybe it's called their Expedition series. I don't recall what they're called because I don't ever really use Old Man Emu, but we can say it's that. I like to see this. I do. I like to see this particular build out here, or this particular truck, because it is so well done. The tires flex a lot. You can see it right there. The truck itself likes to flex. The attachments on it are very well designed. The truck itself looks like it doesn't look cartoony or like it's in a video game necessarily. I mean, it definitely still looks like it's in a video game and it's not real. But it's not cartoony like what you see out of some of these other mods with real bright colors. I mean, it's pretty good. This is pretty realistic as it comes. You can see it flexing out there. One thing I've always wanted to see, and I want to see if it's on this one too, because these are extended travel coils. It should, in theory, because it's sitting in this coil bucket on both sides, both the top and bottom, it should kind of do this weird C-shaped thing when it gets fully flexed out and fully compressed. Kind of bend. It doesn't look like it is, but you know that is being so nitpicky that I'm not too upset about it if it doesn't. Look at this thing. It just has no problem. It crawls right over everything. I love to see the antennas moving about. I like to see just the general realism coming from this particular build, this particular mod. It does have track bars in the front. I think that's interesting, and it's got track bars in the rear. That would, in theory, completely... it would help moderate the flex, which is, I'm sure, what it is doing in real life, so you don't overflex and, you know, make it where essentially you either break components or you lose the springs. They can be taken out. Man, that's a good-looking rig. Inside, steering wheel turns. It's not the most detailed, but it's definitely better than most. I like to see the steering wheel turn. That to me is just super realistic. Man, this thing's got no problem crawling. It just takes everything and just walks right over it. I like this one. This is probably one of my favorite ones. Now, I have run this one before, not in the video, but just in the past. It's definitely one of my favorite ones out here. Let's turn it off first. We're going to stop the engine here. Fuel-wise, it only holds, I want to say, like 100. We didn't fill it up beforehand. I want to say it only holds about 100. You can see right here it carries 400 in repair points. Just enough to get you down to about a quarter of damage there. Let's switch over to now the one. Let's do the HJ79. This is a 2012 HJ79 with 38s. It's on BFG crawlers, and this one's on BFG crawler 35s. We're not going to run them both. We're just doing a comparison here. So this one's, like I said, 35s, 38s. They run the same exact setup you can see in the rear here. We are running bypasses, so they're the same. This one's got more light. So this one you can see there's the shock body, there's the bypass on both sides there. One thing is that about this particular one is that the shock bodies and the struts and the shock what is the word I'm looking for? The shock body, the tube, and the shock stem, wow, why am I having trouble with this? The shaft, they don't line up. So you can see that the shock body is fairly small. Shock shaft is very long. We have the coils, they're just these bright red coils. Same thing with the brakes, bright red. Same thing in the front up here. You can see, have this similar setup. I definitely like the 38s more. 35s are flexing out though. You can see those things, they deform pretty well. But I like the 35s more. Okay, so on this one we can throw a U-box on there. Now, one thing you can tell about the U-box, it's definitely a Patriot camper setup, very similar. It is short. That's because we have used up a lot of frame for the second, or the back seating there. But it still looks good, and this one carries 2 full-size spares. But we're not running the U-box. We're going to run the camper box. Same thing, probably made by Patriot campers, or at least designed after them. This one would open up right here, would have a pull-out drawer that would have probably your ARB fridge or your Domatec fridge. Same thing on this side. Probably have just like recovery gear. This would open up. We'd have a full through box that would be go either way. I would have a full straight through box with mounting points so I can mount my totes to it and hold them down. All right, we're back. Sorry about that. Been having internet issues, so that's why he's trying to connect to Steam. As we were saying, this would run all the way through. We would put the roof rack on there. We have a full roof rack. We got a jerry can, probably another, like I said, a 10-gallon, 20-gallon jerry can, a tote, max tracks. We got the high lift jack on this side. On the front, we've got 2 LED bars, and on this side, we've got, I think, what's supposed to be an awning. We've got a snorkel. Don't definitely run it. And then we got an Overland trailer. I don't think it's gonna let me install it because of, yeah, I gotta position the truck. All right, there we go. That should be enough that I can install it now. Yeah. And lo and behold, it's the same one. Now this one does have BFGs on it that are the same size. So, and they might actually be a little smaller, I can't tell. But that's what I would like to see on a realistic mod, or a realistic build, that you'd have interchangeable tires and rims from the front to the back of this thing. So not only with the spare, but on the trailer too, because let's say worst case scenario and you get stuck and you need to get out of there, you know, you can ditch the trailer, take the wheels off of it. Let's say you have a flat and you've already used your spare, take the wheels and the tires and throw them on your current rig and get out of there and come back later for your trailer. Because most of the time you're in an area that not many people are going to go to. All right. The sound of this one, it's very, very similar to the others. You can hear it. Same Cummins turbo diesel. That would be in every single one. Interior-wise, this one is definitely better. Steering wheel turns, but not very much. We do have a radio. Playing some kind of music, something in probably Russian, I don't know. But all in all, this is a pretty detailed rig. We'll turn it down some, but look at this turning radius. It's terrible. You'll see what I'm talking about, because we're going to get up here and it's going to be real hard to turn. It is also getting dark, so this is a good chance to show. All the lights work. Only thing that don't work is these LEDs on top, which is a little bit of a bummer because I'd like to see those on. One thing I do love about this also is look at the winch line. It moves so freely and realistic. I love seeing that. All right. Low 2, lights are on. And see that turning radius? Oh, it's so bad. It is so bad. And it very well could be only because I have it in low. Let's see. It appears so. I think you might get, for some reason, a little more turn. No, you don't. It's just generally bad. Okay, it's nighttime. Let's see if we can skip night. Yeah, we can. All right. So it drains some fuel. I don't care. It's fine. Okay, I'm going to turn off the headlights here. Now we're using this thing on the same trail that we had before. This one, I don't know if it's because it's got more weight plus the trailer, or if it's just a different kind of a different tune for the tire stickiness, but you're going to see that it has a lot more trouble getting up this stuff. There, get the sound back. Getting up this dirt. This thing also flexes like nobody's business. So, see how it's having some serious difficulty here. The other mods don't have as much difficulty. I'm not sure if it's, like I said, it's probably weight of this thing. But like I said, this thing flexes very well. Look at the back. Well, it was flexing out pretty well. We'll get to a spot up here and you'll see what I'm talking about. But there we go. These, they kind of rotate, but not very well, if you see what I'm talking about. So it's connected, and it's rotating, but I don't, maybe no, they all rotate. Yeah, okay, it works. It's not the cleanest design, but it works. So realism's still somewhat there. All right, there we go. That's a lot of flex. A lot more than I'd say would come out of the stock. Now this one is lifted, so this would probably be something you'd see in Africa, not Australia. Even though it is an Australian styled off-road or overland style vehicle. South Africa doesn't have the same laws where you can't lift your vehicle. You can only have it leveled. Like, I'll show you. This one you can say is lifted so we can get that kind of travel out of it. The rear's got those bypasses. We've already discussed what the bypasses are kind of for. Same idea, right? Same idea as going fast, which most of your trails are not going to be like this. I'd say majority of your trails are going to be canyon roads, fire roads, forest roads, that kind of thing if you're an overlander. Now, this particular truck, it doesn't stick as well. It just doesn't climb as well. I mean, it's got no problem right now, but I think it's because we got momentum. Whereas the other ones, we were regularly stopping, going, look at this, look at that, and then it would have no problem getting moving again. But this one seems to. Now, we do have kind of a more destroyed road now. It's picking up a lot more mud. But I still think it shouldn't be having as much trouble as it is. I think it's the weight of it. I still like this truck, though. Man, it's a good-looking rig. This one's made by Surge as well with the help of Forces. But check this out. I mean, just the detail. There's the mud. It's not cartoony colored like we were talking about. The flat matte paint on the back, on the camper, on the Overland trailer. The Maxa or the Max Tracks on top. Max Tracks, they're all kind of the same thing. Yeah, I mean, this one just, and the lights, all the lights working, man, that's pretty sweet. The red ARB coverings, like, this was very well done mod. I mean, a lot of time was spent on this. That's why I'm a big fan of it. And I'm not a huge fan of Toyota Land Cruisers, but these Land Cruisers, all these, are excellent. We'll go a little further. We're here now. I mean, we didn't get to test it too much. We'll go a little further down here and kind of see what it does. I mean, going downhill is going to be a lot easier for it. In real life, you'd switch down to low 2. You'd definitely switch into low gear, period, because you're towing a trailer, and these kinds of trailers don't typically have brakes on them, so it's just the braking of your truck. And you're going over some of these rough areas like this, and it makes these things like to bounce and hop. This one's not having too much difficulty though, and I like to see that. The trailer's very well balanced. If you take it off, it doesn't just like dip straight back like some trailers do. It, for the most part, stays. It just noses down. I mean, which definitely helps when you're doing this overland rig. Oh, you know what? Look at that. Even the axle, it's rotating, or at least the little bit right there is, which makes it look just completely and totally realistic. This is a great mod. Surge did an excellent job. I know he had help from Forces 19, whatever that guy's name is, and together they've done an amazing job. Look at that. Look at all that flex. That's a lot of flex, because that's a 38, and it's completely skating underneath that. There's absolutely no touch. Like, that's a lot of flex. In the front here, and look, we could even probably go up more, we definitely could, because look at the shaft, the shock tube right here. So the only thing minimizing this would be the control arm, or the steering setup is preventing it, or actually... Maybe, no, that's just a steering setup would be. The control arms, or the traction arms on the front there, they would help control down travel. I don't really remember them controlling too much in the way up travel. Those track arms. Yeah, this is a good one. This is a very well done mod. Here we got some rocks up here, so we'll try to accelerate to them a little bit. And we'll see how this thing actually does on some rocks. And we'll bring the other ones over to it as well, because I want to see what they do too. Alright, here we are, on rocks, low 2, and I mean, it crawls up them. It doesn't have a whole lot of problem with it. I don't think it's a rock crawling rig still. I mean, this is not something that you would take rock crawling, but it's also not having much difficulty. Ooh, that was pretty impressive, okay? I mean, it crawled up that no problem. Look at, and the tires deform pretty well. Fairly well. I'm having a little difficulty getting over that back bit there. I don't want to hit on those rocks. Yeah, not bad. Not bad at all. I'd say this is a pretty dang good build here. Pretty good mod. I approve of it. Not that I have any say really, because that's just me, but I approve. All right. Let's turn off the motor here. Switch over to. All right, we're back. Internet keeps cutting out. Not sure what's going on. All right, we're switched back over to the 1990 FJ75. Is that what this one is? Yep, HJ75. Okay, so we're gonna hit the same trail. We're gonna do the same thing that he just did, but I'm gonna just kind of go this way and all right, we're gonna have to do some. We're gonna have to do some fixing of it. I know this isn't realistic, but I'm just trying to get there because I want to get to the rocks, and I don't want this video to be 30-minute long. Okay. This one has a lot less travel. I know it looks like it's got a lot more travel, but I think the tires are actually smaller, and this is not a lifted rig. So maybe it's identical to travel numbers, but still. All right. So, oh, we can flip the mirrors in. Look at that. That's pretty cool. We'll use the trail items just to repair it, get it back up to par here. I don't know why you need them to flip in automatically, but it does. It's just an added feature, I suppose. Okay, so we know this one had no problem getting through the earlier trail. Let's see how it does on rocks. So we're in low 2, trying to keep momentum up. It doesn't have as much traction as I probably would like to see on rock. I mean, it got over that fairly well. Ooh, and we hit it. Yeah. So we would have just destroyed a door. Well, we're close. Maybe not. Maybe not. We're fairly close, though. But it got over that fairly easily. And we're kind of stuck here. Come on. We're starting to grab mud. Let's go into low 1. See if we can get any kind of traction at all. And we're not really high-centered. We're not. I mean, you can see we got some parts touching, but not a lot. There it goes. Okay, so it climbed. I mean, it made it. Because it's not as high, it definitely bottoms out more. A lot more. All right, we're gonna park this one next to the HJ79. Right here. And then we're going to do the last one, which was the LC79 on BFGs. Now this one, oh man, this is my favorite one. I don't know why I like this one so much, but it is my favorite one. All right. So we're just going to, do the same thing. We're just going to get it over there. I mean, this is going to destroy it. It's going to hurt this one. I don't really care. I want to get it over here to the rocks because, like I said, I don't want to make this. Man, look at that. Oh, there it is. First bit of damage. Four damage points, and it's all really rock damage. I'm surprised. Okay, we'll start right here. We'll fix this. 9. It's negligible. It's not going to do a whole lot. Throw it into low 2 here. That's kind of like low 1. There's low 3, low 2. Okay. So this one's the one that I think has the Dobson USA, or the Dobson suspension components. Interior could be better. Does steering wheel does turn, which I think is pretty sweet. So, okay, here we come up to the rocks. Now, one thing to note, we've destroyed this trail already. We've got some exposed mud, so let's see how it does. And it just crawls over everything like it's just nothing. That's impressive to me, especially considering it came from the same modder. So I'm not sure what to say on that. Look at that, just crawls right over it. Not a problem. Let's see how it does right here, because it is lower to the ground. Nope. No problem. Crawled right over it with these. Ooh, we definitely hit on that rock. We would have destroyed the side of it there. Oh well, I mean, we did our best. So the little bit of rock crawling we had here, not a whole lot. It shows us that it can handle its own. But yeah, so I like this one a lot more than I like the others. It's made by Surge, I think, with Force's help. The quality of each one of these mods is unbelievable. I think that this is one of the better quality mods out there. I think it took a lot of time to do, and therefore the quality is shown. Yeah, the realism's there. These are good trucks. They're approved by me. I like them a lot, as I've said multiple times now. So yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Probably gonna do another comparison video. We're gonna do either old versus new, maybe some K5s or something like that, with maybe Silverados, or some K10s versus some Silverados, or some F-150s or older F-250s versus some new F-250s. But we'll see. And with that, guys, I'll have a good one. I'll see you in the next one.